Hey guys, it's I, Hetsuka. Today I'm here to present my Fairy Forestcraft deck list that I got 4th at locals in Forever After Games. In my last video, the locals report, I made a challenge to you guys. If this video got 10 likes, I'd post my deck list. You guys destroyed that. Like last I checked, I think it was like 50 or 60x. So yeah, here's my deck list. Without further ado. Alright, so first card obviously is going to have to be your leader card. So apparently there's a rule, like a rule in the game that I believe it's like you cannot play the game unless you have a leader card. So you need a leader card, guys. Obviously getting it from a case or a box of that sort is very difficult. You're better off just getting a starter deck. You need one to play the game. And then now to our 1 cost, we have 3 fairy circles. Now with the deck that I am playing, we are focused on fairy generation and giving those fairies a lot of steroids to make them strong, right? Fairy circle is probably your best way to generate fairies early on. It's 1 drop and you get 3 fairies in your EX. Then moving on to our next spell, it's going to be, or amulet I guess, it's going to be Harvest Festival. Now Harvest Festival is interesting because it is a 1 drop and then you can tap it to recover 1, and then when it's sent to the cemetery, you actually draw a card. So it helps you stabilize with that heal, as well as it helps you draw into your key cards. Then our other 1 drop that's really important is our Nature's Guidance. So what Nature's Guidance does is pick a card on your side of the field, you bounce it, and you draw a card. This is actually comboed with a lot of other stuff we're playing on the deck, so we'll just put that to the side, and I'll explain the combos on that later. Next is our 1 drop creature, now May. So May is actually one of the cards to combo with Nature's Guidance, right? May is actually one of the cards you want to combo with Nature's Guidance, because when May comes onto the board, she pings 1, and then when she's bounced back to the hand, she pings another 1. So paired with Nature's Guidance, she can potentially ping 2. What she's meant to be here for is stabilization, right? Because if you're playing into aggression, you need to clear their weak monsters or creatures, and then you need to stabilize so you can get your fairy steroids going. Then our last 1 drop is the 3 Bell Ringers, right? Bell Ringer, honestly, I think every deck pretty much needs to play 3 of her, right? Because she's draw engine, she's a ward, and she's a 1 drop draw engine, which is huge. She combats aggression because since she's a ward, they're forced to burn resources into her while you are able to ramp up. And her evolve is only a 1 cost. We'll explain what her evolve does when we get to the evolve deck, but she's really important to help preventing from dying. Now moving on to the 2 drops, we have Blessed Fairy Dancer. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. So what Dancer does is when she comes onto the board, she has a fanfare, and she gives +1/+1 to all pixies, I believe, right? Yeah, all pixie followers in your play zone and in your EX. So pixies would be both fairies and your wisps, which will come up later, right? Then Ancient Elf. Ancient Elf works very similar to our Guidance, because Ancient Elf helps ward off aggression. It bounces your either dancers or your maze to help ping stuff, as well as she gets a +1/+1 and is a ward, so she's there to help prevent you from dying to early stuff, because man, early stuff is very scary. Then 2 archers. I mean, the reason archers here is the same thing, right? You need to stabilize early game so you can ramp up in mid game and then close out in late game, right? Whenever a follower comes into play, archer can select one of the enemy followers and ping 1. And then I think this is our last 2 drop. It's Sanctuary. Sanctuary is the amulet of the deck that we really want to see if we can, right? Because what it does is any fairy that comes on a board, +1/+1. And they get a sail, which is really nice, because then with the sail, you can actually start stabilizing if you are in that situation, you have to, right? Rose Gardner, 3/3. With a 3-drop, she's there specifically for her evolve form because her evolve form is a bounce, and you need that to maintain either control or to get rid of some really problematic, wards. So this deck does have issues with wards. And then 3 of your Princess Mages. Now this is a very underrated. Well, I don't think it's underrated, but it isn't as played as much as I thought it would be, because it's she has no effect. She's just a 3/3 body, but her evolve form is phenomenal, right? So it's 1 cost to evolve. What her evolve form does is she gives you two wisps, right? And what those wisps do is they are pixie followers, so they get all the boosts from like dancers and stuff of that sorts, but they're a 0-drop, right? So a 0-drop for steroid fairy, pretty good. Then for spot removal, she's there to handle any wards or anything that's too problematic for your fairies to deal with, right? She puts it into EX, and then her evolve form banishes from the EX to the banish zone, essentially, right? I wasn't sure about Erd, because it was either we play Erd or we play Execute, right? Or Execution, right? I opted for the Erd because I would want to have the body over a quick spell. Our only 5-drop is Robin Hood. He's there for, stabilization or to hit anything that is a big body and a ward, right? He comes out, he has a fanfare, he comes out, he does 4 damage. You can tap him for another 4 damage. Or sometimes I've actually played him and then I bounced him and played him again on my next turn to help deal with any future problems on my opponent's turn. Now, the big legendary of the deck is 3 Aryas. Arya is your most important legendary around mid-game, right? Because she is going to be the one, because her effect is insane, right? She fills up your board as much as possible, and then she gives rush to all your fairies. Combine that with Sanctuary. Let me just pull out Sanctuary really quick. Combined with Sanctuary and Arya and all the fairy generation and the boosts you've been giving your fairies, there's not much that you can't answer with that. And she's a ward, so if they ever do try to kill you off if you aren't able to stabilize fully in early game, she would be able to help extend the game, or at least attempt to extend the game. And then this 2 silver bolts. See, I'm not so sure about silver bolt because it is such a high cost at 7. But you draw a card, so it's a draw engine. But at a 7 cost draw engine, that's pretty expensive. And then it does 3 damage. Then it does damage equal to the number of cards you have in your hand to either a enemy follower or the leader. The reason that you play this is, well, you want to do it to the leader late game because the deck has issues closing out games late, which is why we play the next cards that we play. Lucifer. We play 1 Lucifer. I mean, come on, guys. It's Lucifer, right? He's such a huge body, 6'7" with ward, and then on his evolve is free. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Yeah, his evolve is free at 0, and what his evolve does is he's a bigger body with Bane, so Bane's really important in getting rid of late game wards that your opponent sets up. And on the end phase, he does 4 damage, and that 4 damage does come up quite a bit if you can actually pull it off, because it helps you close out games. Now, our last 2 cards will be the 2 Rose Queens. This is usually my main way to close out games. What Rose Queen does is very, well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's simple, but she's an 8-drop, so kind of expensive, but that's the point. It's late game. You need something big to close out the board. She comes into play. You select fairies in your EX zone, specifically your EX, not in your play area, and you convert those into Thorn Burst, and then you can tap her, and then you gain back play points equal to number of Thorn Bursts in your EX zone, right? And Thorn Burst is probably going to be your main way to close out games. We'll get to that when we get to the tokens. You only play 3 tokens, right? You play fairies, and you play wisps, and then you play token, and then you play your Thornburst. What the Thornburst does is it's a 2-drop, and then it's a 2-drop spell, and then you either select a follower or the enemy leader, and you do 3 damage to them, and you draw a card, right? So essentially, once you get your opponent into kill zone, you would start using your Thornburst to essentially kill them. That's usually the main way you're probably gonna close out the game versus your opponent. Now moving on to the Evolve deck, we got 3 golden balls. 1 Bell Ringer, as I explained earlier, she's there because she's a ward, she's draw engine, and her Evolve form helps ping 2 to clear out early aggression. 1 Erd, same thing. Spot removal and to clear out any specific like big wards or threatening monsters. Lucifer, same thing. Bane to clear out wards. The burn on the end phase to help close out games, and he's a big body with wards, so he can also late game keep you alive essentially. 1 Archer. I wasn't sure if I want to play Archer here, because Evolve Archer isn't as necessary, I would say, right? Because she's a 1/4, so her stat line doesn't change, but the only difference is when you play a follower, she can select two enemy followers and ping 1 to both of them, which is, I mean, I assume it's probably going to come up, but I don't think it's going to come up that often, considering like regular Archer should be more than enough to clear the job if you hit her early enough, right? Then 2 Rose Gardeners evolve. Pretty much spot removal, right? When she's evolve, select a enemy follower and bounce it to the hand. Usually used to clear up problematic big dudes or wards, so you can actually get into that juicy life of your opponent. And then 2 Princess Mages. This is the card I was saying. The base Princess Mage doesn't do anything. She's a 3/3 generic. It's only her evolve that's going to give you the wisps, and that's mostly what you're going to want to do. And finally, the last 2 would be the 2 Ancient Elves. Evolve's not too different from the base, right? Evolve, you select another follower, you bounce it, and then she gains another +1/+1, right? Anyway, that's it for my list for Fairy Forestcraft. If you guys liked it, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. And hit that bell for notifications on any upcoming contents and streams of that sort. I do stream 4 days out of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. You guys can comment on what you guys think of the list or maybe some suggestions, because I'm still trying to fine-tune the deck, right? I think that's pretty much it then. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.